Joining us now to discuss the ramifications of taxi violence and industry disruptions is security analyst Azaniah Mnisi, and he joins us now via our video link. Azaniah, always a pleasure talking to you here in SABC News. I mean, let's start off here. Let's start off with the story in which we saw there in KZN when it comes to the taxi disruptions that was seen in that province. And perhaps, maybe, what do you make of it when you look at the taxi disruptions taking place right now, especially during a crucial moment in our country, where we're just 5 days away from the elections?
Good evening, Bali, and good evening to the viewers. It is highly concerning, obviously, seeing taxi violence at this time. We'll know that more often than not, these industry, there are elements which do not want to see peace in our roads, and it is very concerning that they are choosing this opportune time where the whole country is focusing on the elections to start with this kind of violence.
And I mean, you are saying that it is concerning, especially when you're living in KZN and you saw the disruptions take place today. You know, one would say that should you be alarmed right now, especially when we lead up to the elections, in terms of how this is all taking place and how it's being handled?
We should be alarmed because for far too long, the violence in the taxi industry has been allowed or unpunished. Many people have lost their lives, innocent people, innocent passengers. They've lost their lives in the squabbles, and there is nothing that is happening. So it is very clear that we are not, as a country, getting this taxi industry under the guidance and control of the law. So it has numerous times appeared that the taxi industry is somehow a law unto itself, and they can always do what they want to do at the time, and nothing but a lot of ramifications in terms of the elections.
And Azaniah, you are saying that the taxi industry is a law unto itself, but you know, when you look at the story that we've just run, I mean, they are saying that they feel as if they are being targeted by Operation Shanela. You know, what do you make of those, you know, insinuations that they are saying that, well, you know, as much as there are these disruptions, but they feel as if they are being targeted?
Look, they have a right to feel that way. But also, we must also accept that the government has also a responsibility to maintain law and order. So in the process, obviously, there will be clashes if they don't comply to what government is expecting from them, then they will feel targeted. So there should be a point of convergence between government and also takes operators asking of them. And more often than not, government gives enough time to the taxi industry to provide certain and also it could appear that this taxi industry enjoy to operate unregulated. So these regulations are coming for one purpose and one purpose only, to maintain law and order, to ensure that the computers are safe using those taxis.
And looking at how influential the taxi industry is in this country, and you know, the threats that they've laid to government or to the police, saying that if their issues are not resolved come Sunday, and of course they will boycott the elections and they will not vote. What are the implications of that?
But you cannot underestimate the influence that the taxi industry has in this country and even upon our government. But unfortunately, the issue of boycotting voting is an individual right. And in the process, if someone decides not to vote, they must not stop others from exercising their constitutional right, which is to vote. So what happens is that you then have certain elements within the taxi industry believing that it is size one fits all, meaning that when they don't want a certain thing or an issue, all of us must go to one direction. It's not supposed to be like that. They have to, and they have a responsibility to respect other people's rights while exercising their rights of boycotting or not going to vote if they so feel. But it is not what will build this country. Everyone has to take a responsibility and go and vote for a government of his or her church.
And also looking at what took place in the Eastern Cape and, those deaths in which we have seen with the violence taking place there. I mean, a number of interventions have been made to try and resolve, the taxi violence we see in this country. From your expertise, what do you think needs to be done to get to a point where, we're no longer talking about taxi violence? Because this is something that, the police industry has been trying to deal with for a number of years now. Azaniah, are you there?
Yes, but I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, the challenges that we are having is the growing trend in the business. So the more the taxi business grows, the more we find ourselves in this kind of problem. So there is a need, one, for government to continue to regulate these issues of taxis, make sure that people operate within their permits, and those who do not operate within their permits, they get arrested or they get fined or their taxes get impounded. That's how this government is supposed to be working. But also from the taxi associations, we need to make sure that they strive for peace, they work for peace, and they collaborate with government. And until such time that we have a situation where government and the taxi industry work together, we'll continue to witness this kind of senseless matters in pursuit of profit.
All right, Azaniah, thank you so much for your time this evening here in SABC News. That is Azaniah Mnisi. He is a security analyst, just talking about, the taxi disruptions in which we saw earlier today in KwaZulu-Natal and the taxi violence which has occurred.